And we are back. Fearless Plus is a digital platform that's offering a space where students can share their unique narratives, gain some access to valuable resources, and unlock growth and developmental opportunities. The company has partnered with 4 Bronx-based schools in District 75, ensuring that students with individualized education programs receive essential resources and support. And joining me now and sharing more, we've got the founder and CEO of Fearless Plus, Deepali Vyas, and we are glad to have you.
Well, thank you for having me. Appreciate us being on the show and talking about all things fearless.
Yeah, well, it is a fearless initiative to really deal with the area of bridging the gap for so many students. And I want to take the time to really share a little bit about the work that you're doing, particularly when it comes to that development phase, because we understand that people develop at different paces. And part of what you're doing is really ensuring that that development continues even despite of a child's age.
That's right. I mean, I think one of the reasons why we founded Fearless was to empower future generations to succeed. And we're talking about success in their personal life, their academic life, and then eventually their professional lives. And what we're trying to do is equip them with the confidence, the mindset, and the tools to tackle the real world. And so a lot of times we think about traditional education and the reality of the working world, and there's a bit of that gap, and that's what we are trying to fill. We understand that everybody's experiences are unique. And one of the big things for us is when we are teaching or enriching students' lives with the content around real world skills, such as emotional intelligence and things like that, we want them to be able to showcase that on a profile that shares their story and builds their narrative. And that's one of the key driving factors of our platform. We want to make sure that students are prepared and they are able to showcase a lot more about themselves and more than a test score or a grade on their report card.
Deepali, I know that you've been spending some time in District 75, and so you've been working with some schools out there. Give us a little insight as to what's going on in District 75 and the work that you've been able to accomplish.
Yeah, so really important, and we're really honored and privileged to be helping Bronx-based schools. And one of the districts, District 75, has implemented our Fearless platform. And with District 75, there's a lot of individual education plans. There's one-on-one teachings. There's a lot of special needs kids, and so we need to work with them as educators and administrators on their particular needs. So when you think about whether or not these students are going to have, what are they going to do beyond high school? What are their post-secondary plans? Whether it's college, whether it's going into the workforce, those are the things that Fearless is actually helping with. We're having them access content that's going to help their communication skills, also things like financial literacy, confidence building, storytelling, how they are actually going to interview and do mock interviews, think about negotiations, all the skills that you and I wish we had in high school. And that's the stuff that we're bridging the gap on. And for those students, they're able to create a really strong digital profile that they can put on their common application if they're applying to college, or on an internship application or a job application. We give them access to opportunities no matter what their path is in life post high school.
Give me your perspective. When it comes to parents, sometimes navigating this process can be a little bit rough, particularly when it comes to a child's development and issues. You were trying to get the best done for your child, but yet and still you understand that in addition to trying to make sure that your child is taken care of, you also have to deal with the system and sometimes the processes. But you also work with navigating parents through some of these processes that sometimes can be quite laborious. And from the mouths of some parents, you know, a lot of red tape and a lot of stuff that I just don't get.
That's right. And so what we also do is provide parents a nice checklist of the things that they can be doing with their students and their and kids at home on how they should be progressing with their individualized plan. And so parents need just as many resources as the students do. And we want to make sure that, we are being really inclusive. It's not just on the teachers. It's not just on the guidance counselors, and it's not the burden of the students as well. It's all of us working together in order to create a plan and then set them up for success.
And so you've been doing this for a minute. Talk a little bit about yourself because, you're an educator and a mom, and I understand you used to work for Korn Ferry for about 22 years, and now you
That's
decided to, transition over and do this?
That's right. So I've had about 20 plus years of experience in executive search. And the cool part of my job was to get, really big executives into really interesting C-suite roles. And then during the pandemic, I started thinking about, I have a teenage son at home. What is he learning in school? What do I see in the reality of the workforce as I'm working with some of the biggest leaders in the Fortune 500? And where can I help? Where can I bottle this experience that I have and bring it to the younger generation? And a lot of the time that I spent was understanding I know what a good leader looks like, right? I've spent I've reviewed over 100,000 resumes. I've interviewed over 40,000 executives. I know what good looks like, and I want to make sure that our young people understand what it means to be a strong, successful, emotionally intelligent person entering the workforce. And I think that's where the gap is. I think what's happening today is that, some statistics that I can share with you. People with higher emotional intelligence tend to earn more money than people with lower emotional intelligence, like $29,000 more. So that means over a lifetime, you can earn an additional $1.7 million. And schools aren't necessarily teaching emotional intelligence, and it's not their fault. But a child needs to be learning these skills because it's going to impact which college they get into, which jobs they eventually apply for. And so those are the things that we're bringing through our platform. We want these students to build these skills in order to be even more attractive to future employers and colleges.
When you talk about emotional intelligence and you bring those numbers into view, I think a lot of people will say, "Wow, that's a huge connection to make."
It is.
And a lot of people sometimes, I mean, you dropped the gem on me. I totally was clueless on this, but I mean, there's so much attached to that.
Exactly. One of the things that we always say is that hard skills get you hired and soft skills get you fired, right? And that's a really big statement. When you think about the working world, a lot of times, yes, you can go in and maybe code and do your job, but you are working with other people, and that takes a lot more of these soft skills that we talk about. And soft skills are the things that are going to help you progress and thrive in the workforce. And those are the things that get you promoted. Those are the things those are the skills that you absolutely need in order to actually build and grow your career. And despite having all of that, right, you need to be able to start building your personal brand. And that's what we teach young people. In particularly in District 75, we are telling young people, as you're learning these skills, you need to be able to showcase them because the world is now trending towards building a personal brand. You need to have a digital footprint that represents you in a holistic manner. When you think about, these colleges that are making big statements about, tests are optional. So how else are these young people supposed to stand out? And with the Fearless profile, they're able to do a 3-minute video elevator pitch. They can share their entire story, what they're passionate about. They can showcase their athletics. They can showcase all the clubs that they're involved in. It paints a broader picture about a student, and it really helps a college admissions officer understand who the student is or a future employer. And they can realize, here's an extroverted person. I think they're going to be great for my sales team, and I really want to bring them into my particular organization. So these are the things that we want to have students be really prepared for. When high schools talk about college and career readiness, This is the stuff. It's the soft skills that we're trying to focus on in order to, again, promote academic and professional success.
Well, Deepali, you don't need me to tell you. I think you're on to something. So keep up the great work. And really, honestly, some very interesting things to know when it comes to really bridging the gap in child development. Thank you for what you're doing. And of
I
course,
appreciate it.
we're going to try to get some people tuned your way so that way they can get the necessary resources to advance their child and also for themselves as a parent. So thanks so much for being with us.
Absolutely. Thank you so much. And everybody can find us on fearlessplus.com. We're on social media. It's Fearless Plus. So you just spell it out, Plus. And one of the things that I'll leave your program with is think of us as LinkedIn meets TikTok meets Masterclass. We are trying to combine those platforms into one platform for a fearless future for our students.
All right. Well, thank you. Kind of stole my thunder there, but what I'll do is I'll tell our viewers again if they do need some more information, please go visit the website at fearlessplus.com. And we encourage you, don't go anywhere. We got more open coming up right after this.